I guess it's time we revisit a chapter of things and pretty much put the pretty much put all the bullet points together, right? So, Black Sam, Nipsey Hussle's brother, did an interview with Big Boy TV, right? And I'm gonna play some of it here because there were some key things that he said in there that we all should pay attention to a little bit, especially when it was in regard to the gentleman Big U.
Me and my brother, we used to.
About right here is where things got a little bit tricky.
When you pull up to the shop, call us. He like, bro, I'm not calling you niggas when I pull up. I'm not calling you niggas when I pull up. And we like arguing and just, you know, but turn into, you know, a little bit of, you know, hindsight, man. Just, you never understand.
Man, I think as a partner, as someone from the outside looking in, right? I remember just what that day felt like when Nip passed. My mom passed on March 31st as well, right? So literally, I went to my mom's grave and I was doing a comedy show probably like the night or two before. And I wanted Nip to record me a drop like, oh, go see Big Boy's comedy show. He didn't get around to it. So literally on the way home, I was like, man, when I get home, I'm gonna call him like, oh, it's successful and, you know, and do what we usually do, bro. And when I got to the house, I remember my man Fuzzy, he had hit me up and he said, man, I'm over here by Marathon. He said, something's going on over here. He said, they got it blocked off. And I was like, man, I said, he said, I'm gonna try to get closer. And when he called me back, he said, man, they're saying something happened with Nip. What was that day like for you, bro? And did you feel any premonitions before we lost Nip?
100%, man. I think, man, we just, it's my cousin's birthday, so the night, I want to say the night before, Nip took us to Wally's, Beverly Hills, me, Pops, and Adam, my cousin Adam, and just had a long talk with bro, you know, not to get in too much detail, but there was a lot of big politics getting into it with certain people. You know, Hustle had DJ Khaled in the hood. Not to be speaking too much on shit, but we came frontline like we always do, and you know, niggas gonna know we gonna crash out behind it. Back, we not playing, ain't nobody.
Now, see, right here is where I really started to pay attention because I didn't know that there was a discrepancy that day. I did not know that there was an actual discrepancy that day. I think I had heard something about it, but I didn't know it was to that particular extent to where Nipsey had to call in reinforcements almost. And when I say that, it's because of the fact that it seemed like, and we're going to get into it a little bit later on, but it seemed like from what Black Sam was saying, there might have been some type of extortion and Big U was trying to collect and Nip wasn't having it because of his opportunity that was given to him. That's what I'm getting from what Black Sam is saying.
Saying nothing to Khaled, ain't nobody doing nothing to Khaled, and he's straight and Hustle frontline that. And you know, we felt like certain people didn't like that. And did the video. Khaled got out of there perfect and smooth, and you know, we appreciated Khaled for showing up and coming to the hood and doing the video. And you know, we knew that this was gonna be one of them videos, man. Hustle brought DJ Khaled to the hood, and you know, had John Legend in the other scene. So we at Wally's, and we just chopping it up about a lot of shit, man. Just, you know, making sure that we on point in security, and when we pull up, it's, you know, we like, Hustle, when you pull up to the shop, call us. He like, bro, I'm not calling you niggas when I pull up, I'm not calling you niggas when I pull up, and we like arguing and just, you know, but turn into you know, a little bit of that, and then back to the you know, celebrating bro Adam's birthday and.
So, like I said, it sounds like, yeah, ironically, right? Diddy's boy Khaled, right, is one of the key reasons that Nip gets killed, right? So, how this actually plays out is, they said Diddy was there with Clive. That's very possible as well. It's very possible as well that he was there at the video shoot. And this is where things got, things started to be a little bit more clear as far as to why Nipsey was killed and how. So with DJ Khaled being, the opportunity for Nipsey Hussle to elevate in the music industry now. He's signed a deal with Roc Nation in 2018. He's also signed a partnership deal with Atlantic Records with All Money In. Okay? So DJ Khaled is now presented to him as far as doing a favor as far as elevating his career. You know how it is when you get a DJ Khaled record, it's pretty much like an alley-oop to things, right? So Nipsey takes that upon himself to bring DJ Khaled to the hood to shoot the video, of course, to show the unity. Here's the real thing that caused the issue. Besides the extortion fact, Nipsey showing that there was unity within the neighborhood this early before Kendrick Lamar was not liked by the LAPD. Him trying to show and display unity in a music video would not be very good on behalf of the LAPD, who was trying to maintain and control the gangs themselves by keeping them and having them in, an uproar back and forth so they can keep the quotas going and the arrests going and the jail count going, right? Which we will also get into who's at the head of that later on as well.
So got us the back room and, family there. Chopping it, and just us four, and we stayed there forever, man. And when he walked out, we all walked out the back room of Wally's. I think Rivera, one of the guys that filmed the video, just happened to be there, and so he see us walking out. He's like, "Oh, Hustle, what's up?" And he's like, "Man, what's going on?" He's like, "Bro, they just sent me the first edit of the video," and so he pulled it up and. He like, "Man, look at this, bro. You look amazing, bro. You about to do movies after this. Look at this shot." And so Hustle seen it, and Hustle was smiling. Hustle was happy. He seen the shots of the video. He's like, "Man," he's telling him like, "Bro, ain't no more small time shit, man. After this, nigga, your shit going out the roof." And so, we was all happy and shook hands with them, and then we left. And that was the last interaction, bro.
And that was the night before?
The night before, Saturday.
And so Sunday, what was...
Thank you, Emil. Thank you, Emil Mendez. He couldn't put the LA squeeze on Khaled. And Nip wasn't having it. Nip said, no, this is going to go down with legit business. You are not going to get away with the LA squeeze. You're not going to get away with this extortion. This is going to be a regular business transaction. He's going to do what he got to do and get the fuck up out of here safely. You're not here to extort nobody the way you and Wack have been doing all these years, allegedly.
That morning like for you, Sam?
Sunday, it's a regular Sunday, man. I think we had spots in the hood. So one of the spots we had little weed spots. It's a 24-hour spot, and I think it was my boy. Who usually do one of the shifts. I had to cover one of the shifts. And so I was in it. I think I was in it all night. And the morning shift came in and I ended up leaving.
Bingo, Fury B. Kendrick had to do it in a live show because it wasn't planned. He had to do it in a way where it wasn't planned so that the powers that be could not do anything to him. Plus, he's a very protected resident there. Unlike, pretty much he didn't have the same protection that Nipsey, pretty much he has a bigger protection than what Nipsey had at the time. Kendrick is very safe. In other words, he can get away with doing something like that, especially at a live event. But Nipsey was definitely not supposed to do that in a music video at the time where GRYD, which we will get into also, GRYD and the LAPD wanted the Bloods and Crips to still be pretty much at war.
And so my goal was to go to the house and sleep a couple hours and then go back to the shop and close the shop up for the rest of the night. So I'm at Granny house, sleep on the floor, and his phone just going crazy, man. It woke me up, and I picked the phone up, and forget who called me, man. I just hear people screaming in the background, and they like, man, bro got shot. So I just immediately just run out the house, and jet out the door. My grandma was in the living room watching TV, so she seen me run out, didn't close the door, just got in the car. Grandma's on 5th in Slauson, so the shop is maybe like 6 blocks away. So I just ran every light, every stop sign, and get there, and man, it's just going crazy, man. Everybody screaming, and I just see bro, and I'm just, it's fucked up, but bro still breathing. I think Kev Mack was like talking to him and trying to tell him, breathe, stay with, just breathe, bro. So I'm looking, trying to, we need to figure this shit out. So somebody had the, I think, ambulance on the phone, and everybody screaming. I was just like, man, shut the fuck up, man.
Now, this is the part that actually bothers me a little bit. Not necessarily hearing Black Sam talk about it, but I had to point out the one contradiction in where he says Nip was still breathing. Nip was dead. Rizza Islam confirmed it already. 2 to the body, 1 to the head. Nip was dead. Nip was not alive when Sam got there. So that's a contradiction right there that I had to pay attention to. Nip was not alive when Sam got there. And Sam would have said this beforehand too. Nip was already passed by the time Sam got there.
It's like take the phone, and I'm trying to talk to the ambulance. They say they coming, and they telling me, I'm asking them like what do we need to be doing, and so they telling me to try to administer CPR on bro, and asking me, is he breathing? I'm like, yeah, he's still breathing, and just try to do the best that we could, and finally, police came and ambulance came, and they took him. And so I'm just praying, I had faith that bro was gonna be all right, and I had a lot of people shot in that parking lot, and I done drove multiple people to the hospital, and I'm like, man, if anybody make it, bro gonna make it for sure. And that was the ride to the hospital, man. Just praying, and I was confident bro was gonna be good, man. And just couldn't understand it, man. Just like the Twilight Zone after that. Everything I believed in, or my faith in, shattered. But
did you get word like right then? Did you follow?
Yeah, followed the ambulance, and they got out, and so I was trying to go to the doctors and ambulance. I think one of the ambulance told J-Rock something, and he came to me. I'm like, no, I'm not trying to hear that, man. trying to figure it out and go talk to them and then go to the doctors. And then my mom and family was there and then everybody screaming and just walked out. It's fucked up, but.
When you walked out, you knew then?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. You know, still can't understand it, honestly. Just it's Twilight Zone, man. Don't understand. Shook my whole belief in whatever I believed in, and you know.
Man, that's one of those, it's wild too, because we thought we had it like rough that day.
Right.
But when we started hearing calls or we started piecing things together, man, and the first thing I thought, you know, you started thinking about family. You know, of course you pop up, then I'm hearing certain things and I was like, man, was Jay there? Because I knew.
Pay attention to what Black Sam says here. This is very key. Black Sam's interview is strategic. He's battling the guilty people to speak. Yes, definitely. He's going to say something very key here that does exactly that, Emil.
We had heard it was a couple people, and I was like, when I called Jay, when he didn't answer, I immediately put him there too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I would always see them together. You know, and it's crazy because we never had a chance to talk, but I didn't know that y'all had that much conversation even the night before.
Yep.
About, man, you know, we got to move a little different. You know, we gotta make sure that security's on set, and you know, bro doing his regular routine.
Yep.
You know, like at home. You know, with that, bro, it's like, not what is the first thing that you do, man, but where's headspace, man? Because it's hard to just not, you know, either throw it all away or give it all up.
Right.
You know, because we got Nip as friend, music, whatever it may be. You know, y'all sharing bedrooms, that's like me and my bro.
Right.
You know, at some point, do you feel like any of this is worth it, or were you ready to throw it all away?
Oh, no, man. 100%, like, crash out, broad daylight, whoever. And, you know, we start figuring out who the streets was saying it was, and, you know, that's what the whole unit was like, where's this nigga at? Mm-hmm. And, you know, that was the mind space at that point.
Yeah. Aside
from just dealing with, you know, the reality, you know, but it was go time, man. And, you know, they're gonna make sure the kids is good, make sure his kids is good, and make sure we keep going.
Is it as random as what the public thought it was? Like, Nip seen somebody, Eric, and talked, and...
I mean, you know, he already got convicted, so for me, without going into too many details, mm-hmm. Somebody come to the shop. They know we in the doorway. When Hustle pull up, we in the doorway. You gonna see me with a hoodie on, and I got a pistol on me. You gonna see one of the team members in the hoodie in the doorway with a pistol. That's protocol when Hustle pull up. So it's Sunday. It's busy in there. Why the niggas in there didn't follow the protocol? I wasn't there. Why they didn't follow it? Maybe they was fucking around helping the customer, doing some fucking customer service. This is what I'm thinking, trying to, you know, transition into some legitimate, just selling clothes. But nobody was in the doorway. And from my understanding, old boy walked up with no shirt on first to check the scene, because he know what's going on in that parking lot. And had a conversation, probably seen nobody was in the doorways, checked Hustle, had on shorts, checked everybody else, left. They say came back with a red shirt on, tiptoed through the alley, and went right and started shooting. So to me, that's premeditated. Number one, there's no red shirts in the hood. You can't buy no red shirt. No liquor store sell no red shirt. Number two, when a nigga come through the alley with a red shirt, that's the throw off, or the Bloods did it, or the Inglewood families did it, or the BPS. That's the throw off, red shirt. So for me, he felt he was supposed to do a job, or somebody sent him or whatever, and he was nervous. He was supposed to hit that alley with that red shirt immediately, but he didn't do that. He came in and he wanted to check the scene. He wanted to make sure he wasn't getting into a shootout. And that's my thoughts on it. You understand? So, and can't nobody tell me nothing about that, because it just don't make no sense. It's not random, you know. I know Hustle. You know, ain't nobody gonna say nothing crazy to Hustle.
And immediately when he said all this, I couldn't help but think back to when Loose Cannon was going off about Big U. Trying to see if I have the right one here. This one here should be the one where he has the actual, should I say, trying to find the one where he took. I think it's this one here.
He provides tools, and he say, "Yo, I'm gonna let you work here, and we gonna."
There's this clip here is where Cannon talks about Big U being the last person to talk to Nip.
Dude, and Meek and Rick have no idea that Draw sent you.
Later, he called me. He was like, "Oh, nephew, where you at?" And I'm like, "Nigga, where my money at?" And he was like, "Oh, I needed it for bills. I needed."
Trying to find it.
What's up? He was like, "Oh, what's up with it?"
Here it is.
Back, right? And I'm on a phone. He FaceTime me. So he FaceTime me and stuff like that. He was like, "Nipsey just got killed." I'm like, sick. So I didn't hear that. So I hang up with him. I called Nipsey, and I'm like, "Nipsey, what's up?" He was like, "Oh, what's up with it?"
Nipsey answered.
Nipsey answered. He answered the phone. And I was like, "I love you, cuz," or whatever like that.
Did you tell him to call you?
So here's another thing. That's why I had to go back to this. What's up, Tamiko Show? What it do? What it do? I had to go back to this interview because it immediately let me know that the only reason Nip walked outside was because he was on the phone with Big U. He was on the phone with Big U, and Big U got him to go outside. Big U was the only person to even know that he was standing in front of the store, how long he'd be there, and for what. Which would give enough time for the assassin to run up on Nipsey. Now, noticing that, okay, that Big U was the main person, or should I say the last person to talk to Nipsey, I immediately started thinking to myself, okay, something is very fishy here if Big U is in play. Because if Big U is in play, there has to be someone else that was funding Big U to remove Nipsey. That was the main thing that went through my mind. Someone is funding this, literally. But listen to this here.
Was the Blue Suge Knight involved in Nipsey Hussle's murder? No, I'm not talking about 600. He's a sweetie pie.
Listen to all this here.
Nobody before us. Now, Big U may act like a sweetheart. He's been a nightmare in LA for more than a decade now. Well, after this Black Sam Big Boy interview, it's looking real spooky on 600 divided by 10. Now, let's be real. You only seen Big U with Nipsey a handful of times throughout his whole career. But according to Big U, he made Nipsey's career.
Well, I ain't killed Nipsey and had nothing to do with it because I wouldn't have benefited from Nipsey. I didn't have no business with Nipsey. Nipsey ain't signed to me, wasn't signed to me.
I remember when he said this shit, and I said, nigga, you literally have always said that he was signed to you. Majority of the artists, especially that come from that neighborhood, have some type of contract with you and or whack. So I knew right then and there when he said this, he was lying.
I don't make no money off the Crenshaw shirts. I don't make nothing off nothing. I create my own. I do my own. And I created
In this
Nipsey.
next clip, Big U says when he first met him, Nipsey was recording on his own and already selling music on his own.
He really had a mic in his closet and was recording his own self. Remember that. He did what no other rappers do today. He sold his own music. He sold his own music.
And remember, IRL Debo just said, I didn't kill Nipsey. He wasn't signed to me. I have no money to make with him or from him.
Well, I ain't killed Nipsey and had nothing to do with it because I wouldn't have benefited from Nipsey. I didn't have no business with Nipsey. Nipsey ain't signed to me, wasn't signed
But
to
in
me.
these next two clips, he breaks down the contract he has with Nipsey, and they were both different from each other.
Me first.
What were the terms of the Sony deal?
The Sony deal was we signed straight to Sony. Cinematic Music Group got 20%, 30% everything. I got 15%.
That was in 2009. So he's talking about the 2009 deal with Cinematic Music Group. Shout out Johnny Shipes. Cinematic Music Group helped him, Wiz Khalifa. Who else at the time? It was him, Wiz Khalifa, Big Crit, and Smoke Dizza. There's a few people around that time. Okay, Nip was one of the main people that signed to Sony.
Percent everything, and
The deal fall apart.
it never fell apart. The deal never fell apart. It was a 7-year deal. It was a 7-year deal. It was 5 albums, 7 years. We signed, and I had publishing starting in 2009, all the way for 7 years. In 2009, that would put us in 2016.
Well, it had to fall apart, or he wouldn't have been able to sign with Atlanta.
No, Sony just let it go.
So Big U just said he had a 7-year deal, 15% of everything. He must have got amnesia or something.
My point exactly. Because how the fuck do you go from all of a sudden saying you had no business with him, you would have not benefited off of him, but then there are literal... See, this is why I love YouTube and the videos that are out there. Because people get on these fucking cameras and forget the shit that they say and do. So I love when things are documented, okay? Literally, there are clips out there. And unfortunately, there are clips where he can't even get the fucking number right of how many years he was in the contract. But there are quite a few clips out there of Big U saying that he had him. We're going to get into that, Juju. We're going to get into that right there. Where he literally says that he had Nipsey under contract. So that was lie number 2. That you didn't have lie number 1. That you didn't have Nipsey under contract. You very much had Nipsey under contract. And you very much ate off of what he was doing.
He went in a time machine and redid the contract. Because this next clip, check it out.
I signed him to it. It was signed to a 10-year production contract, which started in 2009, which would end 2019.
Crazy.
Hello. But I ain't tripping off of that because, it is what it is. But I do have that. You know what I mean? So,
wait, so your deal with Nipsey was 10 years?
It was 10 years.
It was a 10?
It was 10 years, 25% of publishing.
What happened to 7 years, 5 albums? You see how that number changed again? What happened to 7 years, 5 albums? Because now if we talking about you got a 10-year deal and it was in 2009, that means you're actually still eating off of Nipsey, doesn't it? In 2019 when he passes, right? That means you still collecting money off of him when Victory Lap drops and goes platinum, right?
To Hermes Astrodome.
Oh, wow. So, 09 to 2019.
09 to 2019.
So, technically, Victory Lap.
Hello.
Okay. Wow.
Wow, Big U, not the little one. See, I didn't believe none of the rumors at first, but with all this nastiness, Big U, I just don't know anymore. On 3 times 20, I ain't rolling with this. I'm not gonna lie, I found so many inconsistencies. We could be here all day. Like how you didn't go to the funeral for Nipsey, but you held a united gang walk for Nipsey. It wasn't even somebody from a different hood that killed Nipsey. It was somebody from the 60s. You should have did a 60s walk and united the hood instead. But let's get to some of the key points b.l.a.c. Sam pointed out. Like before Nipsey died, you was not selling them Crenshaw shirts. As a matter of fact, these were your designs. Looks like a knockoff Adidas, knockoff b.a.p. Oh no, and this is nasty times 60 right here. The combo, the knockoff Adidas, b.a.p. and Louis Vuitton all in one pick. Yeah, the clothing thing, Big U, just give it up. You saw Nipsey do it, but you not Nipsey.
So you even tried to copy Nipsey's blueprint with the marathon clothing. You even tried to copy his style of. You said it right earlier, yo. They was super jealous of him. Excuse me, super jealous of him and what he was doing. Everyone was jealous of what he was doing and the way he was going about it, because he was moving faster and hustling faster than everyone. But for you to take his actual marathon clothing design style is absolutely disgusting. Because that later confirms one of the benefits that you say you wouldn't have had. That further confirms one of the benefits you would have had with him being gone. Because now you can put Crenshaw on shit and make it look like it's fucking marathon clothing. But if there's no logo of the marathon, it's not really marathon. But to the average person that's not in LA or hip to the culture, you can still get that off now, Big U, can't you?
I think this was a shot at Big U too, though. Check out what b.l.a.c. Sam had to say.
And one of the things was, you know, while the sweater and the crew necks is getting famous, everybody start bootlegging. The Tag A Marathon, the Crenshaw crew neck is a knockoff, and that was genius. And so now people are like, yeah, that's if it ain't got the marathon on it, it ain't the real one. Yep.
b.l.a.c. Sam mentioned that he thought this was a hit also. Why? Because at first he came with his shirt off, checking out the spot, and he was looking real nervous. Then he came back around in a red shirt, started shooting, and took off. He said this was premeditated.
He was supposed to do a job, or somebody sent him or whatever, and he was nervous. He was supposed to hit that alley with that red shirt immediately, but he didn't do that. He came in and he wanted to check the scene. He wanted to make sure he wasn't getting into a shootout.
I also think this was aimed at Big U, because in interviews, Big U has been telling everybody that they grew up with each other, they're friends, and they started beefing. And this was the reason why he killed Nipsey.
Then it was a conspiracy. What is a conspiracy? Yeah. They clearly had a conversation. They clearly was beefing. They clearly grew up together. And it's I never seen before. I never met him.
Okay.
People say something to me about Wack, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why you don't sitting in the Wack? Well, Wack told his truth. But I can ask his family, why y'all ain't told the people that I ain't had nothing to do with this? Well, y'all know it. You want me to say something?
Notice how when he's asked about that, and even when he gets mentioned and gets to the Wack part, every time he's asked about Wack 100, he does a Freemason and pretty much flips the script and tries to change the subject on it. Because him and Wack are both doing the same exact thing with the LAPD. Not necessarily the snitching part as much as being just the informant and helping the Hollywood entertainment industry do what it does. They are one of the underground kings of what the whole ring is about. So think about, like I said, the extortion part, right? And the fact that Khaled coming there, on top of showing the unity, Khaled coming there and not going by the rules of the extortion, went against code. Went against everything. So, Big U Rewind, please. Yeah, we can do that too. But Big U pretty much was, whether people realized it or not, was also working with LAPD to remove Nipsey Hussle.
But how about y'all say something? How about Lauren London, his brother, his mother, and all them say, y'all know this man had nothing to do with it. But you want to say me being quiet on something is me agreeing with it. Well, how about y'all being quiet? Don't that work the same way?
Wow.
Be honest with you, why isn't it that they saying nothing? You want this to go like this. When clearly, he wasn't my friend. I didn't grow up with him. He's 25 years old. He's younger than my middle son. They was all friends. They all grew up together. Mm-hmm. They had a conversation. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody going to go do nothing. You're going to have a conversation with somebody. They clearly got the conversation. So why are they letting go like that? But you want me to say something to somebody.
And you still haven't had a chance to talk to the family or anything?
I'm not even trying to talk to the family, bro.
Well, Black Sam said this is not the case. He was never around. He was not good in the hood. And they were never friends like that.
From the 30s to the 100s, when Hustle throw something in that parking lot, you coming. From whatever it is. You in the hood, you smoking weed, you coming to our spots. He was never at any functions. He was never at any grand openings. He was never at anything Hustle was doing. He was never at any shows. It's because he wasn't good in the hood. So all this other just talking about, I don't know it. He wasn't good. You know, he wasn't good, and he was not good, and he was not around for a reason. You know. And to that point, we didn't see him.
And I think this last thing solidified it right here. Check out Big U showing off a text message between him and Nip before he died. And he's asking about Khaled.
This the last conversation.
So even more proof right there that Big U is the last person to talk to Nipsey. On top of more proof that Big U is the one that helped set up Nipsey that day. Because he was the main one to talk to Nipsey. And had an agenda, a reason why to talk to him. And yes, very much so, him not being full bred had a lot to do with it. Because it's seen as him being an immigrant coming over here, just taking over and pretty much having his own property, as well as having his own fame in our territory. So, on top of how he actually looks, you see how they already talk about the Al-Qaeda bullshit? On top of how he actually looks. Writes down the serial yeah, that's actually from the same interview, Emil, where Loose Cannon was talking about he was the last person to talk to Nipsey. That same interview at No Jumper, he talked about how Big U would scratch off the serial numbers of the guns. But like I said, there's so many things that point to Big U working with police informants. It's fucking unreal.
Me and Nip had. You got to get in close. You see the date on there? See what that say? Tuesday, March 28th. This me and him talking. This me talking about DJ Khaled. I told him DJ Khaled had gave me his number, right? And I said, I need to talk to Khaled. So Nip said, at the video, did you talk to him? You see what he said? I ain't got to read it. He said, did you talk to him? But I was doing an interview too. And I said, yeah. And I sent him a call, cuz back after the meeting. Nip said, off top.
See, that already right there would be asked. Why did you have to talk to Khaled? Khaled wasn't there for you. Khaled was there for Nipsey. He wasn't there for Big U.
Let me know once he balances it.
Now, during the interview with Black Sam, he said during the video shoot, they were trying to give him trouble. There was a lot of politics involved.
You know, not to get into too much detail, but there was a lot of big politics getting into with certain people. You know, Hustle had DJ Khaled in the hood. Not to be speaking too much on, but we came frontline like we always do. And, you know, we're gonna crash out behind it. We not playing. Ain't nobody saying nothing to Khaled. Ain't nobody doing nothing to Khaled. And he's straight. And Hustle frontline that. And you know, we felt like certain people didn't like that.
Now, if you ask me, 100% this whole interview was aimed at Big U, and that's on 15 times 2. Now, after this interview, a lot of the stuff that Wack's been saying and Loose Cannon is looking more truthful now, right? Hey, some of you guys might owe the exposers an apology, but check out how Wack and Loose break this all down. Hey, remember, Wack, Big U, and Loose Cannon used to be close. They used to have gang sleepovers. Pause. Oh, and that DJ Khaled thing? Allegedly, Big U sent Loose Cannon that DJ Khaled. And after this clip, I'm gonna post Big U's response.
Y'all seen
Check
what
it
Big
out.
U, y'all seen what Black Sam alluded to?
What happened, Ghost?
Basically, in that interview, if can pay attention and understanding what he's saying, he basically saying before Nip died, Big U and Nip had an issue about Nip bringing DJ Khaled to their neighborhood.
They definitely did. And Big U had him ran up out of there.
Now you see what I'm saying?
He sent the team over there. That's a fact.
Now see, that dispels all this Big U been saying all this time.
Bro,
me and nephew ain't had no problem. Me and nephew was cool. That's a lie.
What I've been telling you, bro.
You been saying that shit, bro.
Bro, you gotta remember. Ghost, listen to me. This is how this works. I want you to really think.
One of the big connections that Big U has with Jay-Z is the NFL partnership. Big U is in heavy talks with Jay-Z as far as the NFL partnership goes. Big U was one of the main people that tweeted out when Jay-Z first got the deal with NFL. On top of Big U has been seen with Jay quite a few times. And he does other business ventures with him the same way Wack does business ventures with Diddy. It's yin and yang, pretty much. But Big U does a lot of business with Jay and helps him a lot.
About 2 different mountains. 2 different motherfucking gangs, right? But you got 2 who got to say so of each of their gang, right? And then you got a problem on his mountain, but everybody watching.
Full-blooded American icon. That would be full-blooded American. Nipsey was not full-blooded American, so it was sort of seen as a shun for him to be over here and owning his own property.
Him, but he has safe passage to go to from the Blue Mountain to the Red Mountain and have a conversation. Who you think know everything?
Right.
You know everything, bro.
Bro, you got to watch that interview, bro. Like I'm telling you, in the next few hours between today and tomorrow, gonna be on that Big U.
We was finna run it, Ghost. You already know. You already know what I was on.
Listen to me, Ghost. I know everything.
Hey, Wack, you know, this who pay attention is really gonna dissect that interview.
Not necessarily snitching on each other as much as Wack has always been trying to get rid of Big U. That's why Wack has been playing sides like that. Wack has always been trying to remove Big U so he can be the main guy. He can be the main one getting all the checks. Right now, they share the checks as informants. So Wack is trying to remove him.
And see what Sam is saying, bro. Sam is really alluding to that the boy Eric Holder was sent. He kind of alluding to like Big U them might have sent that nigga, bro.
Eric Holder is a little, bro. You don't remember when I said the only way a mental patient could walk into a mental facility and get checked in is he was already a previous.
Yes, he was already there. Yep.
You remember I used to tell everybody that.
And see, that's just further confirmation of what I had said before, because I already knew when this happened that Eric Holder was. So the government, the CIA has always been doing this program to where they pretty much take inmates and people from the psych ward and they pretty much release them into society to carry out dummy missions. So that was one of the things that popped out to me when, that information was out there about Eric Holder and him being someone that was, a little bit off I was like, okay, this is one of the people that they sent out on the fucking dummy mission, because numerous people said that they never even seen him before. Just think about that key thing there. Numerous people said they never even fucking seen him before, and that there was a made up story of him being someone that they grew up with. Sam said, I never seen this motherfucker before. That was all the confirmation I needed to know of I grew up with him. Sam saying I never seen this motherfucker before mean no one's seen this motherfucker before. Meaning you didn't grow up with Nipsey. Yes, they are very much b.l.a.c. This is why Big U and Whack 100 both have been investigated yet, because both them are on the payroll. Yes, pretty much so. Pretty much so. Big U, Jay-Z, NFL, welcome to the Clown Central. Yeah. Yeah. BC, because Nipsey, why would Jay-Z need help from Big U for anything? He's way more powerful than he is. Well, if I were trying to remove someone for the benefit of my own, but I didn't necessarily want you to know I did it, I go through someone else that is close to you to remove you. That would answer that question right there of why would Jay-Z need Big U? It seems active dope fiend. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, it's a couple people that Big U actually was allegedly involved in removing.
You know what I'm saying? I thought he was gonna use that as part of his defense. Because he already is a mental patient. He diagnosed already. Did Black Sam?
Which that part always confuses me. When I hear Cowboy, whenever I hear Cowboy, period, his interviews very much confuse me as far as he's supposedly Nipsey Hussle's best friend. But Black Sam is saying that he never seen the motherfucker before. But Cowboy is saying he did. That part is very confusing to me. Because then I have to ask myself, who the hell is Cowboy like that? Compared to Black Sam. See how things get very tricky?
Talk about the time Big U came down there and fired the gun, and he tried to fire the gun in the air. What did he tell? Did he tell the story on how he went from assaulting to standing with the police as a motherfucking grid worker and pointing the finger at people? Oh,
He didn't that one yet. He didn't really get into that. You know, it was with Big Boy. So what he really wanted to focus on was like it was kind of like he was trying to dispel everything that Big U been saying without saying Big U name, because he made sure to say like basically like he told the story of the night before Nip died, which was a Saturday. It was Adam's birthday, and they was in the it was in some Wally's. They was in some restaurant called Wally's or whatever, right? And they was talking about how it was a lot of political issues and niggas was mad that Nip bought DJ Khaled to the neighborhood and shit.
No, Big U was mad.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But that's
you see what I mean? Because like, I never even heard of Cowboy until Nipsey passed. I knew of all the other people that were around Nipsey, but I never even heard of Cowboy. I might have seen him in videos even. He was in video. He was in the video with DJ Khaled. Let's not get that twisted. He was in a video or two with Nipsey, but I never heard of him like that until Nip passed. So all I see is him doing these paid interviews about Nipsey Hussle, and I'm like, nigga, who are you? Who are you really to Nip?
You name, but that's what he was saying.
What is he mad about?
That's what he meant.
Oh no, listen. He sent a team over there on him about it. Press that man. This is why when I seen DJ Khaled taking pictures with Big U, I knew what that was. That was the old LA shuffle, the old LA squeeze. But he definitely got a...
What did you say, Emil, earlier? When he took the picture with him. That's when he was going for the LA squeeze. That's when he was going for the extortion. This is what one of the key things this was about.
Problem with it because the move didn't go through him. He's saying, nigga, Nipsey, you can't bring nobody over here without clearing it through me. Nipsey saying, nigga, who is you? You gotta remember, Nipsey did a whole diss song on Big U. You heard the song before, right?
Facts, I heard that shit.
Whack, but wasn't Black Sam and Big U already into it?
No, Black Sam was into it because of what he did to his brother.
Okay.
Did he talk about Fats? You know, us a little nigga named Fats, about 5'6", little fat nigga, about 260.
Both the Fats, the nigga that died?
Hold on. You know what happened to him about a week before he died, right?
I heard something about some weed shit.
No. Fats put Big U on his pockets.
Damn.
Big U tried to take off on Nip, and Fats took off on Big U and set him on his pockets. In front of everybody.
So pretty much there is where now it's a huge beef because Fats is defending Nipsey Hussle. He gets into the squabble with Big U. He taps Big U's pockets. Now Big U doesn't look so big anymore. He looks like a little homie. Big U didn't like that. Did not like that. No, there wasn't. This was always a business arrangement between Big U and Nipsey. They never were actually cool.
A week later, Fats was out of here. Think somebody might have shot him. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, the internet finna be in an uproar about this shit, bro.
Well, they definitely was not. Bro, he bringing me the shit trying to counterplot on the nigga.
Okay, so we pretty much have the main meat and potatoes right there, right? To where we know Big U is now the one plotting against him. But how is he doing this? How is Big U doing this, right? So then I stumble upon things like, this.
Have y'all heard of GRYD? GRYD. It stands for Gang Reduction and Youth Development. I'm about to show you some documents and I'm about to show you contracts and I'm about to show you these contracts is dealing with Big U. His real name is Eugene Henley. They're dealing with developing options. And you're about to see what's going on. You're about to see why Big U is arrogant. Why he keep his chest pumped up. Him and Wack. And Wack know everything I'm about to say, everything I'm about to show you. Wack know. He know. See, he backed up by every major city official in LA. Yes. Put it out there. Argument. Right here. They say the GRYD book. And these is documents from Big U's contract with his organization developing options. It's the Gang Reduction and Youth Development Contract. He is number C-126488. Why?
Do we really need much more? We might as well. But if this doesn't tell you what you need to know about how Big U was able to get himself funded to remove Nipsey Hussle, I don't know what else will.
In LA. Yes. Put it out there. Argument. Right here. They say the GRYD book. And these is documents from Big U's contract with his organization developing options. It's the Gang Reduction and Youth Development Contract. He is number C-126488. That's what it is.
That's exactly what it is. And then you see, this is just, I didn't put everything in there. There's like 200-300 pages. These are some of the, table of content team. The contract number is on there again, C-126 Tractor. Big U is the CEO of Developing Options. Developing Options contractor will provide gang intervention service. Okay. Here's something else that I want you to see. Chapter 2, Incident Response. It says Section 1, CIW, Incidents Response per hour. 9, on-call CIWs on a monthly schedule and outline their assignments in the Community Engagement Plan. CIWs shall have agency assigned.
And it pretty much cuts off there. But you pretty much heard what you needed to there. And I'll let you play it. I'll let you hear a detail.
Every time I speak, I want the truth to come out. And even if I get in trouble, you know what I'm saying? That what.
I'll let you hear a more detailed version of it.
GRYD. It stands for Gang Reduction and You.
Pretty much it's explaining how, and I'm looking up something here with development options, because I wonder now if I could find something with him and Marcy investment partnership. I'm going to dig a little bit further as far as that goes. Okay. So $325 million. Okay. So there is a little bit of an article in there, but I want to make sure I do something. I want to make sure I have confirmed. But yes, development options and Marcy investment partnerships work hand in hand. So that would be another key implement of where Jay-Z and Big U have business. Big U has development options. Jay-Z has his thing called Marcy investment partnerships. So he would be someone that Big U would be doing business with, as far as Big U would pretty much be managed by Marcy investment partnerships. Development options would be underneath Marcy investment partnerships. That's how that would go. So GRYD, I'm gonna let them finish talking about that as well. GRYD is what Mr. Eugene Henley has been funded by, and Eugene Henley has been working with the LAPD in GRYD to pretty much keep things in a certain order going on within the neighborhood. So again, it goes back to the fact that Nipsey was going against the grain with showing the unity in the hood, as well as he was going against the rules of the extortion. So with Big U having the powers that be behind him, he was able to pretty much get funded to remove Nipsey Hussle, because Nipsey Hussle was being a disruptance in the GRYD Foundation program. Nipsey was pretty much doing everything against what GRYD Foundation was doing, pretty much doing their job for them. And you know how LAPD does with the corruption of their system, allegedly. Exactly. Pretty much removing him and taking his idea of regentrification and pretty much making it their own. Yes. And I didn't necessarily go in on that first video where we talked about where Diddy had his involvement. But yes, very much so. That snake bitch. Specifically that snake bitch. Very much something to do with it. Tucked her fucking tail when his passing happened. I mean, tucked her fucking tail when his passing happened. Pissed me off, Miss Karen Civil. And you supposedly grew up with this nigga. But you tucked your fucking Hollywood evil tail when he passed. Let that be known, damn it. You tucked your fucking tail when Nipsey passed, and you supposedly grew up with him. Fucking shady Hollywood. Shady industry. Let's continue with Big U though.
Development. I'm about to show you some documents, and I'm about to show you contracts. I'm about to show you these contracts is dealing with Big U. His real name is Eugene Henley. They're dealing with developing options. And you're about to see what's going on. You're about to see why Big U is arrogant. Why he keep his chest pumped up. Him and Wack. And Wack know everything I'm about to say, everything I'm about to show you. Wack know. He know. See, he backed up by every major city official in LA. Yes. Check this out. And Hassan Campbell, he did the right thing by recording. He did the right thing because if he wouldn't have recorded him and he just put it out there, guess what? Guess what would have happened? He would have denied all of that. And he would have got into an argument and kept going and going and going. But he got set out there. So ain't no argument. You said what you said. Now the world hear it. And now the world finna see this. Check this out. This document right here. City of Los Angeles. You see what it say? Gang reduction. See what it say? And y'all can go, blow it up, go back and read it or whatever. It say City of Los Angeles. It comes from the GRYD book. And these is documents from Big U's contract with his organization, Developing Options. It's the Gang Reduction and Youth Development Contract. He's the contractor. The contractor, Developing Options. This is what it says. The title, Gang Reduction and Youth Development. Said agreement is number C-126-488. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
That like, comment, subscribe.
You see, this is just, I didn't put everything in there. There's like 200-300 pages. These are some of the, table of contents and everything. You got the contract summary sheet that was dated October 15th, 2015. The contract number is on there again, C-126-488. I know y'all like, where are they going with this? You see the total amount, $555,000 for Developing Options, the contractor. Big U is the CEO of Developing Options. Developing Options contractor will provide gang intervention services in the 77th GRYD zone. That's the 77th precinct, LAPD, the police department. Okay. Here's something else that I want you to see. Chapter 2, Incident Response. It says Section 1, CIW, Incidents Response Protocol. CIW is Contracted Intervention Worker. It states contractor, I already told you who that is, should provide 24-hour, 7-day-a-week incident response coverage for their contracted GRYD zone or secondary area zone. Okay.
Jeezy Miyake.
Contractor shall assign on-call CIWs on a monthly schedule and outline their assignments in the community engagement plan. CIWs shall have agency-assigned cell phones to ensure prompt response to incidents.
Yeah, this nigga basically the police, nigga.
Check this out.
Ain't no basically. These police. Big U is police. Informer, if you will. Informer. Now, being that we've been on the subject of Jay, right? So there's a couple of reasons. There's a couple of reasons to why Jay would try to remove Nipsey Hussle. Right? So let's think about this. Nipsey died in 2019, right? He signed to Roc Nation in 2018. As well as he would do the partnership with Atlantic Records around the same time, right? So at the same time, he does All Money in Records with Atlantic, solo act in Live Nation with Roc Nation, right? 2018. I have always found it ironic how when independent successful artists suddenly sign a record deal and a year later they are gone. I find it very ironic that that is very much the case. Every single time a independent artist that has already gained the groundwork, gained the cult fan base, has the following and influence, forget how much they're making. How much revenue do they generate? I find it very ironic that every time one of these artists sign to a record label and they have the power of a Nipsey Hussle already, they don't exactly stay alive for too long after they sign the deal. We're going to get into that as well, Icon. We're going to get into that part as well with little Miss Fast Ass Lauren. So, signs to Roc Nation in 2018, right? Here's where things get a little bit tricky. This here had to be debunked for the simple fact that a huge rumor started going around about Jay-Z having a $15 million trust fund for Nipsey Hussle, and the fans were left in a bit of confusion. So Nipsey Hussle fans are in a skeptical position for more than one reason. For one, the exploration of the Dr. Sebi conspiracy wheel conflates the real motivation behind his killing, or lack thereof. Regardless of how many public eulogies come into effect, Nipsey's death has given a rise to a flurry of peripheral conversations, some with little to no relation to the issue at hand. So, the Jay-Z Trust Fund was one of them, amongst other tweets, or should I say, and allegations and things like that. But where did the Jay-Z Trust Fund actually come from? Where did that rumor come from? Okay? That's the biggest thing I started asking myself. Well, like I said, Nipsey signed the partnership with Atlanta Records the same time that he did the deal with Roc Nation. So when I'm thinking about his passing and the fact that he was worth more dead than alive, I then start to think about what Jadakiss and French Montana have also gone on record in saying lately, as far as insurance policies, life insurance policies specifically, are taken out on these artists. Now, it had nothing to do with Nipsey owning his publishing and things of that nature. This was still a thing where if we take a life insurance policy out on one of our artists to recoup them when they pass, that has nothing to do with them still being able to own their shit. So, a la Pop Smoke, a la, let's say, another artist that owned Young Dolph. Okay? Just because Young Dolph owned all of his shit doesn't mean that the person that was in charge of the life insurance policy didn't skate off with a couple of $1 million. Okay? You following? The life insurance policy that has nothing to do with the person's masters. The life insurance policy always is one of the key reasons behind a label being okay with a passing of a superstar, thus of Nipsey Hussle stature. So I then began to think about myself, okay, how do we have any proof that Jay-Z has, or should I say Rock Nation, takes out life insurance policies, right? On top of them confirming they had a deal with Sony and Atlantic. See, here's where things again get tricky. Jay-Z has confirmed a Rock Nation deal with Sony and Atlantic back in 2009. So Reddit had actually debunked this, that Rock Nation is not its own thing. A lot of people think Rock Nation is its own management and record label, when in fact it is actually underneath Sony and Atlantic Records. So whoever is at the head of Atlantic Records, which I believe is Warner, who's ever at the head of Atlantic Records is the head of Rock Nation. So, catalyst for a successful career and got offered once they signed to a major. Yes, that's the fucked up part. That is the fucked up part there. Shout out to Nip's partner Dolph. Yes, very much so, very much so. I forgot that those two were kind of close as far as ideologies. So having the fact that there's life insurance policies involved with, we know for a fact Atlantic Records, because when we covered the whole Takeoff thing, we uncovered Motown Records having something to do with that, right? So, like I said, we know that record labels take life insurance policies out on artists. So here's another thing that would, if you don't have any confirmation, okay, that Rock Nation does that. Look at this. Rock Nation seeks $11 million from insurer in Jordan Feldstein's death. Rock Nation filed a federal lawsuit Friday seeking $11 million from its insurance carrier following the death of Maroon 5 manager Jordan Feldstein. Rock Nation, a joint venture of Jay-Z and Live Nation Entertainment, partnered with Feldstein's career artist management in 2016. At the time, Rock Nation says it took out a key main life insurance policy with HCC International Insurance to protect its investment in Feldstein. The policy carried a liability limit of $12.5 million, which would recoup the company for lost revenue due to Feldstein's death. So if that don't fucking tell you that labels take life insurance policies out on people, that is full fucking confirmation right there. So there was most certainly a life insurance policy negotiated for Mr. Hussle. There was most certainly a life insurance policy for him. So if you want to know where Jay-Z allegedly comes into play with Nipsey Hussle, Nipsey would be his biggest, if not biggest, insurance policy claim in fucking music history. Because it's one of those ones that is early on in value at a high rise and will only continue to go up. It's not like it's something that it's not like a Michael Jackson value that can go down eventually, right? Nipsey's stock is only going up. So if you kill him while his stock was going up, it's no different than you pretty much Jay-Z got his own Biggie Smalls with Nipsey. Because you see how Diddy was able to eat off of Biggie's killing for how many years? Right? Jay's now able to eat off of that killing for God knows how long because of the life insurance policy. Right? Like I said, nothing to do with the masters. But then I asked myself, nigga, how are you even getting, even if there was a rumor about it, how would you even be getting $15 million in the first place? You got $15 million for that life insurance policy on him. That's what happened there. And of course, that might be chump change to Jay. But $15.5 million ain't chump change to the label Rock Nation. That's funded by another record label. Okay? Following here. Another reason Jay would have something to do with it would be, and I found this article here. Excuse me. Where is it? Wait. Hold on. Oh, it is this right here. Okay, so this gentleman here was in heavy talks with Nipsey Hussle. I can't, just for copyright reasons, play it, but Nipsey talked about working with a visionary that was pretty much helping if you guys remember, Nipsey heavily praised and talked about this gentleman because he was helping him with the Marathon store, and it was the first virtual reality store that you can go into. The first augmented reality and virtual reality store that you can actually go into and purchase items. So, revolutionary genius of his own kind. Okay, this was pretty much someone that was attached to Nip's hip. Says the young visionary was born in Accra, Ghana, and raised in Compton and Harbor City, California. That key part right there. Raised in Compton and Harbor City, California. This was Nipsey Hussle's homeboy, okay? This was his go-to guy in investment that helped him get up the Marathon clothing store, okay? So this part right here is key. His collaboration with late hip-hop artist Nipsey Hussle would establish him as hip-hop's face of technology. You hear that? His work with the late Nipsey Hussle established this gentleman as the face of technology for hip-hop. Okay? In 2017, the Marathon store in Crenshaw, LA became the world's first smart store, allowing customers to interact with objects in the store to unlock augmented reality experiences and obtain access to limited edition items. Customers could buy merchandise and get a sneak peek at exclusive material from the West Coast rapper via an app, thanks to Sandhu's role as chief of technology. Idris has a conscious world view and a youth-centric vision that's innovative, refreshing to witness, Jay-Z expressed. We share similar parallels in how we imagine impacting people in our lifetime. Partnering with him on his journey and others is very exciting. I bet you the fuck it is, Jay. I bet you the fuck it is. Why would he not buy that mini? Let's think about that. Why would he not buy that mini? Especially if put it like this, right? If I know I'm going to eventually do some type of business with you or some type of negotiation with you and have you, employed by me, if you will, right? I do some type of incentive gifting. I do some type of incentive letting you know that I do see you at a certain value. So I'm willing to invest this $20 right now. Even though you're asking for $5, I'm willing to invest this $20 right now. Just to make sure that it goes towards what you might be doing. Okay? Let's see, with the QR code technology for his products. So, okay. Yeah, so basically this gentleman was a key factor in the Marathon store becoming what it became. As far as other stores following suit with that would be much, much later on, okay? But the fact that Jay got him removed on top of the life insurance policy, you have this key part right here to where he now has Nip's boy as far as moving forward in business and saying, hey, I've got a tech guy now that can pretty much do what I need to do for all of my other businesses. I wouldn't have been able to do that had I not been able to remove Nip, because like I said, this particular guy was attached to Nip's hip and getting him up and running with the Marathon store and helping him run that. That was pretty much this guy's job, was to help Nip with running the Marathon Smart Store. After Nip's passing is when the Virgil Abloh effect happens, and his greatness is seen on top of now. It's everyone has to, of course, raise the price in value. Okay. So this was one of those things where you have to just take it with a grain of salt, but understand that life insurance policies on artists are very real. And you just never know when someone is just inviting you to a brunch. It might just be for an actual business meeting of some sort. And as far as this gentleman goes, well, we all know what his prize possession was for removing Nipsey Hussle. There wasn't too many other things that Diddy wanted. And as Gene Deal has always said, what Diddy wants, Diddy gets, eventually, doesn't he? That was one of the main reasons why we broke down the fact that, Diddy was a lot closer to Lauren than a lot of people actually noticed. Because who in their right mind allows this type of picture to happen with their wife? And then everybody got mad when Kodak Black is saying he thinks he has a chance with Lauren. But Kodak was easily saying, yo, I think Diddy already dated Lauren too. Y'all getting at me for being, disrespectful at this, but what about him? Kodak specifically came out and said he was fucking that girl. So, again, Diddy's was very much, his was more out in the open than everybody else's. His was way more out in the open than everybody else. Because his was more of a greedy type of thing. You get to be executive producer of one of the hottest albums that is going to be by a now late rest in peace rapper. You get to now be executive producer of a new deceased artist. Okay? Think about that. That's Diddy's benefit right there. He gets to be executive producer of a recently deceased, highly popular and valuable artist. Cha-ching. Then you couple it with the Revolt TV specials that keep going on about the marathon continues. The marathon continues. The marathon continues. Just, you see, if you turn on Revolt right now, you won't see nothing but marathon continues, right? You think that's by accident? That you see nothing but marathon clothing all over Revolt TV? It's not by accident. Especially when supposedly the kids are the ones that actually own the marathon store now. But guess who has, say so over the kids? That would be Lauren London, the mother. But who has say so over Lauren? Diddy. So while we're all thinking to ourselves, Lauren, received $25 million, $5 million, whatever it was. You look no further than that man in that gray suit as far as where that $5 million might have went with with Lauren London. Because that same man right there is the main person that, talked her out of wearing sweatpants to her boyfriend's funeral. Talked her out of wearing sweatpants to her boyfriend's funeral. I'll say that again. Evil. Evil vultures. Evil vultures, Juju. Very evil. Very, very, very evil. So, again, how this all ties in Jay-Z gets the life insurance policy money of $15 million or more because that value actually raises now that the person is actually gone. More things can be used as far as the likeness, as far as, making money off of Nipsey while he's gone. So that life insurance policy goes a long way when, Rock Nation is able to continuously eat off of Nip's passing the way they will. Imagine that. You're dead and gone, but a bit of your debris is actually making headlines right now because of AI. It's Diddy. Then you couple it with Diddy and his wanting of Lauren London. On top of, we have to also pay a key factor of this, right? So, oops. Come on. So, think about this, right? Remember when the LAPD said that they couldn't arrest Diddy because the video was too old, the video of him kicking Cassie? Right? This is informant number 3 that was around Nipsey. I say informant number 3 because you have Big U, you have him, and then you have, if you want to put Whack or Lauren in that one. But there were many people that was pretty much helping, set up this operation of removing Nipsey Hussle. Like I said, Diddy babysits for a while everything's being set up. Gets himself executive producer on an album because the rapper is going to now be deceased. And he knows that this is an investment right there that I can't afford to miss because it's Nipsey Hussle. And when he dies, I'm going to make more money off of him. I'm going to make so much money off of the Victory Lap album because I am executive producer on it. If I have a life insurance policy, Rock Nation, Jay-Z, the life insurance policy is carried upon that artist. So now, regardless of whatever I got, that artist is still under contract with me. So marathon continues. Yes, the marathon does fucking continue. You're right. You absolutely goddamn right. The marathon continues. Makes you think about that whole statement a little bit differently now, doesn't it? When you hear marathon continues. Of course the marathon continues because they want to continue the investment in the marathon continuing, huh? And then, of course, Big U, you liar you. Working with the GRYD to remove Nipsey Hussle in the LAPD. So, now that we have played Connect 4 here, we have every key point into why Nipsey Hussle was killed and removed. He was affecting the GRYD Foundation. Big U needed him out of here. So I also looked up this, right? Look at this. This is from a payment. This is a contract summary sheet from the GRYD contract, right? See what it says? Mayor's Office of Public Safety. Justin Harris. Contract date July 7th, 2017. Ooh. I am under the weather, excuse me. July 7th, 2017. Adopted by council May 24th, 2017. Community Build Inc. was the contractor name. Don't that sound familiar? If we're thinking about development options, right? Contractor name here says Community Build, though. The amount of $4.2 million. This person, Justin Harris, was pretty much carrying out, more contract work to help maintain order. But $4.2 million on the contract? Ooh, you getting paid a hefty amount, huh? And then we heard the amount Big U got for getting rid of this guy, right? He was in 5 figures too. Right. They all were looking to just simply remove Nipsey. They felt they didn't have a choice but to just remove him. So you have, like I said, the GRYD Foundation. Yes, that's another thing, Juju. I do believe eventually they're going to do something very Epstein-esque with Diddy, but they don't want to do it too soon to where someone ends up, allegedly hanging themselves. Especially when Gene Deal has publicly said that he's the type to do that. So that's what I hear when I with things like that. I wish that things were different because Nipsey was a fellow Leo brother of mine, and being an August relation to the Lion, you understand, that your confidence is seen one way to the people that seem motivated and inspired by you, but that same confidence in your hustle and motivation will also be the single-handedly thing that kills you because there's so many people that are jealous of that motivation. So many people are jealous of that motivation and hustle and strive that you do. You overcome that struggle and you start making doors and opening avenues for other people, but you didn't do it under the watchful eye of the agenda. You did it on your own. You did things without us telling you. You did things to benefit others without us telling you. There's a no-no, Nipsey. Among the Dr. Sebi, he didn't even want to talk about it, but Charlemagne, sometimes I say fuck Charlemagne for that because Charlemagne forced Nipsey to talk about the Dr. Sebi shit and he didn't even want to talk about it. And a lot of people said Dr. Sebi was one of the key reasons that he also passed as well because he couldn't get away. So it's one of those things where I just wish Nipsey was able to. Sometimes I wish Nipsey just didn't walk out the store that day. I wish Nipsey didn't walk out the store that day. And I wish even more that he didn't answer the phone for Big U. I wish he hung up on Big U. I wish he had hung up on Big U that day. Because if he had hung up on Big U and helped the store clerks with the customers, if he had hung up on Big U instead of stepping outside to take that call, Nipsey would still be here today. But because we have fuckhead Big U, because we have greedy Diddy, and because we have a Jay-Z, the businessman that he is, we lost an amazing brother.